As you guys can tell from the title of this video, in this video, you guys are going to be finding out about the top 10 best Shindo Life Bloodlines in the game. So if you guys enjoyed this video, remember to like, subscribe right to the video, guys. By the way, guys, in this video, there will be a couple Bloodlines in some of the tiers just because, you know, I wanted to put them on this list but couldn't find a place to put them in. I can't do like 3.5 or something like that. So if you guys are okay with that, feel free to tell me what your favorite Bloodline is in the comments below. We'll be checking them out. Alright, so coming in 10th place is going to be Alfirama Shizen. Now, Alfirama Shizen, as you guys may or may not know, has one very big standout move. The big standout move is actually the third move. It's pretty much an uncounterable ability. As you guys may or may not know, the Inferno ability, aka the flames, are not counterable anymore, which definitely makes Alfirama Shizen a lot better than it used to be. By a lot, I mean like significantly better. The third move of Alfirama Shizen honestly really does carry it. It's an amazing move in general. Now, the reason why, the thing that's kind of holding this, you know, Bloodline back in general, this mode takes so much mode drain, it's actually insane. It's one of the highest mode drain modes in the game, and you know, if it wasn't for that, I do think that Alfirama Shizen would probably be very close to being at the top of this list, simply because it, you know, it has a very good place lock stun ability. It has a good, you know, long range second ability that has a ragdoll stun attached to it. It's honestly just a really good Bloodline in general, held back by a mode that, you know, saps your entire mode bar. And as you guys probably know from the most recent update, mode is extremely important now, so something that drains a ton of mode is a big no-no. Alright, so coming in 9th place is going to be Riser Akuma. Yes, you heard that correctly, Riser Akuma. Now, Riser Akuma is going to be solid 9th place on this list. Honestly, has a pretty good iframe attack ability, which is the first one. Boom, it basically does a stun, fat stun ability. You run up, oh yeah, slap them cheeks together, you know what I'm saying? But when it comes down to it, you know, jokes aside, Riser Akuma has a pretty good average stun ability, teleports you to them. You know, it's a genjutsu stun. There's not really much to say about it. The first ability definitely carries Riser Akuma. Honestly, one of the single best iframe attacks in the game because it actually has a stun attached to it at the end. Now, the C-spec is, you know, it's nothing to scoff at. It's a low mode drain, you know, C-spec in general, but you know, it's an iframe attached to it, so you can use it to catch people off guard sometimes. Third ability is absolutely horrible. Recommend just staying away from it like it's the plague. But yeah, when it comes down to it, Riser Akuma has a pretty good stun, a really good iframe attack, and honestly just going to be a really good Bloodline to spin, considering it is one of the few Akumas that are still spinnable in the game. Coming in 8th place, as a surprise to nobody being on this list, is going to be Naramaki 6 Pass. Now, Naramaki 6 Pass is going to be in 8th place and not higher. You guys may be thinking why. Well, first of all, the third move was nerfed. It was put onto a global cooldown, so you can't use it with other auto dodges in general. Now, I'm just gonna be straight with you guys. I love Naramaki 6 Pass. This is definitely one of my favorite Bloodlines in the game, but they fixed the hitbox in the second move. You know, the first move has always been pretty terrible, all things considered. It has hand sides. It has too much startup to be worth using. You're probably never gonna hit this on anyone decent, but the mode kind of carries this Bloodline into being back onto this list. Obviously, you do have the counter ability. It does a lot of damage to someone. The actual throwable ability also does a lot of damage in general. Now, the reason why this mode is generally, a lot of people generally don't really touch this mode. It's very predictable. If you see someone using this mode, you already know they're going to be throwing these giant raisin shurikens at you, so you already know what's about to happen, and you can easily counter them, because even though they are a projectile, they are counterable. You are able to counter them, so it definitely does hold back the mode quite a bit. But when it comes down to it, I actually do think Naramaki 6 Pass still, you know, holds up in this meta. You definitely still see people using it from time to time, and it's for very good reason. High damage, high combo potential with the third ability, and yeah, it also is a very cool Bloodline in general.
Have you ever gotten 80th spin rarity and gotten something like just atomic? Well, that's because you haven't hit the like button on this video yet. If you hit the like button on this video, you're guaranteed to get 10 million times luck, 100%.
All right, so coming in 7th place, as you guys can probably already know from this skin, Shindai Ramen Awaken. It's going to be Shindai Ren Goku. Now, Shindai Ren Goku, you know, it used to be one of the best, but I think ever since they removed the fact that you can, yeah, there used to be a block thing where you could spam block and fly into the sky. They also nerfed the throwables, which was also one of the best things about Shindai Ren. The cooldown is like literally more than twice as much, so it is quite a big difference. Now, what is carrying Shindai Ren Goku, you may be asking? It is definitely these very large M1s. You know, even though the first ability does do a lot of damage in general, the only way you can hit it is through a place lock stun, and then the second move is a pretty good block breaking move. I actually do recommend you guys check it out if you guys haven't. It's honestly a pretty slept on block break in general, and obviously, you know, the weapon spec only triggers for the normal Shindai Ren. Now, a lot of people, this is like one of its most famous things, but it's really not that great. It's going to be its insanely high damage counter. This super high damage counter basically does 150,000 damage to someone almost instantly. If you place lock stun them, you know, pretty much it's going to be a free 150,000 damage off a counter. It's very hard to place lock someone you know, after triggering this counter, so in general, it's not really going to be that good of a counter. You know, because better, you know, instant counters are in general just a lot more useful. But definitely carry Shindai Shindo Ren is these huge M1s, and the mode doesn't really drain that much when you're considering, you know, being able to stun like someone with a throwable, gigantic M1s, a C-spec that basically allows you to charge your chi. Honestly, Shindo Ren is just a really good bloodline in general. It has a block break, a counter, high damage ability, really, really good mode. Honestly, just, it's a very good mode in general. Definitely a very good A+ bloodline. The coming to 6th place, it could be Bankai Kuma. I'm not going to talk about this one that much because this one is going to be very obvious to the people that know things about Bankai Kuma. It has the single best stun in the entire game. It's a place lock stun that allows you to not aim at someone. It's an AoE stun, meaning you can hit multiple people. Does a decent amount of damage. It's a place lock, and it lasts a very long time. It also has a pretty low cooldown considering what it does. So yeah, that's the reason why Bankai Akuma is going to be this high up on the list. Honestly, just an insanely good stun ability. It also has an auto dodge ability. You know, it's an auto dodge. There's not much to say about it. You teleport back at the end. It allows you to avoid attacks. Third ability, it's honestly a pretty good damage ability, but it doesn't hit half the time due to people going at the speed of Sonic. Yeah, this stun, really, really good stun. That's all there is to say about Bankai. Has a pretty good mode, low mode, drain mode. Allows you to stack with Z-specs really easily considering it only drains 25 a second. Coming in 5th place is going to be Van Helsing. Now, this one might be a bit biased, so just keep that in mind when you're looking at Van Helsing here and my big sexy back face. When it comes down to Van Helsing, I actually do think the iframes definitely do carry this bloodline quite a bit. The second ability, the C-spec, and the throwable are all iframes. They're also all okay, so throwable, C-spec, or instant. The second ability is not. Now, when it comes down to it, I do think Van Helsing, the iframes definitely carry it through team fights and stuff like that. It also is pretty good for 1v1 scenarios, but you do have to be aware while using Van Helsing. You probably will get slapped using it unless you know what you're doing. It's a very skill-based bloodline, and I think, you know, if you don't know what you're doing, probably stay away from Van Helsing in general. But if you know what you're doing, or if you just want to try out a very fun bloodline, honestly, one of my, you know, top 5 favorite bloodlines in this game due to how fun it genuinely is, definitely check out Van Helsing. It's worth a touch up depending on, you know, how you view this game. Now, coming to 4th place, this may surprise you guys. It's going to be 2 different bloodlines. The first one's going to be Strange, and the second one, believe it or not, is going to be Eastwood Karashi. Eastwood Karashi received a massive buff, as I'll tell you once we get onto Eastwood Karashi. But for Strange, let's get down to the nitty gritty right here. You know what I mean? They absolutely butthole, you know, they fingered the butthole of Strange. That's all I'm going to say. First of all, third ability damage, severely reduced. 60,000 damage may seem like a lot, but that's in mode, and I have really high nin stats, so just keep that in mind. The second ability also was nerfed. I'm pretty sure it was damage nerfed, so yeah, the second and third ability were both damage nerfed. The first ability, I'm pretty sure, the first ability is the exact same as what it was, if not a lower stun time. Now, a big nerf, obviously, as you guys can see, the M1s now do 7,000 less damage. Don't really need to explain why that is, you know, such a huge nerf. The actual weapon spec of Strange no longer has any iframes at all. Iframes were completely removed from the Q spec. No more iframes whatsoever. So you can get hit in the Q spec. Now it just acts as a barrier. Huge change for Strange in general. Now it's really only usable as an extending move, which is fine. It's really, you know, it's still good as an extending move. And then obviously the C spec it also has a huge change. The C spec now reverts your HP no matter if you healed or you lost HP. So if you use the C spec, you're at 80,000 and you end up at 160,000. You go back to 80,000. Pretty big nerf when you consider why people use Strange. Like Strange combined with Slug Summon was one of the biggest Strange combos. And then obviously the third move, they nerfed the movement speed, so now you walk slower while using the moves. May seem like a very small change. It's pretty major when you include it into team fights, because now you're basically place locked and you're just going to get absolutely slammed in the butt by people. So when it comes to Strange, the big nerfs definitely made it a lot worse than what it was, but it still is an extremely good bloodline, coming at number 4. Now, the bloodline that has, you know, changed everyone's opinion of it, Eastwood Karashi. Eastwood Karashi right here. Now, you guys may be thinking, what is the huge buff? The third ability now has more iframes and less end lag, making it a combo extending instant iframe ability, not on the iframe global cooldown. Not on any global cooldown whatsoever. It's basically an auto dodge that is a counter mixed in with it. It's an iframe attack, should be in the iframe attack global cooldown. When it comes down to it, the third ability is kind of hardcore carrying it. The first move in general is honestly really good. I actually do think the first ability is an insanely good combo extending move. And then, you know, when the mode, there's some fancy stuff you can do with it. It has a counter attached to it like this. Knocks him back super far, does a bit of damage, allows you to charge your chi. The second ability is nothing really, you know, to be amazed about. Like, oh, I'm running running him over with a horse, stepping on him with my horseshoes. But when it comes to Eastwood Karashi in general, the third move definitely is going to start hardcore carrying it. End lag being removed allows it to actually combo extend. Iframes being improved. I already had iframes. Now it's until the end of the ability. Literally an insanely overpowered attack. I actually expect to see this move in pretty much every competitive player's moveset. Insanely busted move in general. Now coming to third place as the top 3 in the best Naruto bloodlines, Shindo Life, whatever, you know what I'm saying. Best bloodlines of Shindo Life. Shindai Akuma. Shindai Akuma, this bloodline absolutely slaps. Let's get started with the actual weapon spec. Weapon spec, it's a high damage iframe ability on a 50-second cooldown on a weapon spec. So, you know, that right there obviously makes Shindai Akuma mode quite good. They removed a lot of the end lag off the C spec, which allows you to actually use the C spec more effectively. It's pretty much, I view it as a stalling move unless you're in the fourth one. I'll get into the fourth mode at the, end of Shindai Akuma. The first ability is a counter. When you get hit, it actually ragdolls them. Then afterwards, you can actually stun them to then combo them. Obviously, going to be really good in general. You actually have to use a very, very instant stun. Otherwise, they'll actually be able to get out of the counter ability. The second ability is going to be a stun ability. We got some logs right here since he got his face slapped. Boom, right there. Big, giant damage burst. Does around 66,000 damage when they're place lock stun. Now, what is definitely carrying Shindai? First of all, it is a really good PvE bloodline when you actually factor in the fourth mode right here. Boom, shakalaka. You don't even need to get the samurai spirit. First of all, gigantic M1's obviously really good. The weapon spec, the weapon spec of it is also really good. It's a mode drain ability. Now let me show you why this is so good for PvE and PvP content. These are full samurai spirit clones. They are full samurai spirit, meaning they have the M1 range and the very close to the same M1 damage. Yes, you heard that correctly. It's absolutely nuts. Now I'll show you guys the weapon spec here. Oh, okay. Well, it's glitched out. That's always good. I love it when it's glitched out. Shindai Akuma in general is honestly just going to be a really good bloodline. I definitely think it is a very solid top 3 bloodline in this game, and there's a reason why literally everyone uses this right now in competitive. Now coming to second place as second in the top 10 best Shindo Life bloodlines. You guys know what I'm talking about here. First of all, Diva mode honestly sucks. I see people, you guys can think this mode is good all you want. That's fine. I think it does have its merits. The counter does a lot of damage. The actual weapon spec is a M1 combo extender. It's a good mode. I would say it's a very B tier mode. It's not bad. It's good. You know what I mean? But what makes Diva Ren so good is the abilities. First of all, the third move is an instantaneous combo extending move that actually has hit stun attached to the meteors, which allows you to combo extend with it. Not on any global cooldown whatsoever, by the way. The first move is also extendable, but you have to be using a certain combat art. It has to be Jokai Fist, obviously. And then obviously the second move of Diva Ren is going to be a pull move. You basically pull someone in and allows you to extend combos. It's near instant. It's like 0.5 hand signs. Diva Ren in general has been and will probably continue to be one of the best bloodlines of the game until they touch up on all these moves. And I'm not saying that this bloodline is honestly inherently broken. I'm not saying it's, so broken it needs to be hotfix nerf, but it definitely is extremely good. Now, honorable mention 1 is going to be shared between 2 different bloodlines, Satori Akuma and Ragnar. Now, I'm not going to talk about these that much since they're honorable mentions. You guys don't really need to hear that much about them. Satori Akuma, really, really amazing weapon spec. Probably one of the best mode weapon specs of the game. C spec allows you to come up on someone and then combo them. First ability, Satori, is a pretty good, iframe attack ability. Ever since they started teleporting them around, it's a lot harder to use effectively. It's still usable. Second move is a TP counter, allows you to actually start combos in general. He did a little bit late there. And then third move is a stun. It's a place lock stun, very, very, very close to being instant. Good mode in general. It's just a good honorable mention. Like, come on, guys. Now, the other one, like I said, was Ragnar. Not going to talk about this one that much since it's even less than Satori. Has a good first ability, uncancelable block break ability, does a lot of damage if you actually are in mode. Second move also does a lot of damage, but it's a lot harder to hit in general. Third move is a counter when you actually get hit by someone. Oh, this guy doesn't know how to M1. The C spec is honestly terrible. I'd recommend just staying away from this. The people that defend the C spec have never used it against a real person. Obviously, as you guys can see, the M1s still do a lot of damage. They're basically strange M1s. I'm guessing people are going to start using this mode for the M1s, if I'm going to be honest, because M1, boom, into the weapon spec, instant M1 combo extender. Look at that. Look at me slapping my axe into this dude's face. When it comes down to it, Ragnar is honestly just a pretty good bloodline in general. I'm not going to be putting it slapping into the honorable mentions, not actually on the list, because the moves are kind of hard to use in actual PvP, but if you know how to use them correctly, you will slap some cheat. Now, honorable mention 2 is going to be Boramaki. There's not much to say about this. Honestly, the third mode of Boramaki is absolutely absolutely insane. And when it comes down to it, the second ability of Bourmaki also carries it. It's a counter iframe hybrid ability, and you know, it's honestly really good. I bet you guys have seen someone use the Bourmaki second ability, didn't know what bloodline it came from, just because Bourmaki in general is not that popular. But when it comes down to it, the third mode of Bourmaki definitely carries it, and the second move definitely helps it be on this list. Now, next up on Honor Mention 2 is going to be Vengeance. Now, Vengeance is honestly only going to be here just because it is so easy to use. I'm going to show you guys right here. It's an instant. So since it is instant, it actually is very noob friendly. It allows you to easily combo extend abilities. And, you know, there's not much to say other than that. It's honestly just a really noob friendly bloodline. That's why I continue to support it the way I do. The fact it's so noob friendly definitely, you know, helps new players and stuff like that. And it's the reason why so many people actually use Vengeance still. Have you guys been enjoying the Shindo Life updates recently? Feel free to tell me, you know, what you guys have been liking, what you guys haven't liked. I will be checking them out. So coming in first place in the top 10 best Shindo Life Bloodline list is going to be Snake Man. Obviously, guys, if you guys have seen this bloodline in this game, this bloodline is absolutely crazy. Like, I'm being serious when I say this. This bloodline is it's like S plus tier. First of all, let me just show you the first ability. The first ability in mode does 100,000 damage. Yes, the 100,000 damage. And then the second ability is a ragdoll stun attached with a combo extending move that is instantaneous. The third move is an instant long range block breaking move. The throwable is basically the best part of the entire snake, the reworked snake mode. The throwable of this is literally just that, but better. They literally made it better for this. Obviously, the M1s, I say they're okay. I mean, they're just buffed range M1s. Now, the reason why Snake Man is just so overpowered is that, first of all, it has very, very low cooldowns for how good the abilities are. And when you guys look at the cooldowns, you're thinking like, oh, 25 seconds. It's 25 seconds for a 100,000 damage ability that's instantaneous stun. Now, the C-Spec, I would say the C-Spec isn't very good. You're not really going to land it that much. Like I said, the throwable is probably one of the best things of it. Allows you to extend M1 combos extremely easily. And then, obviously, the weapon spec of this is basically just the C-Spec, but as a counter. Now, the fact that it has a counter definitely makes this bloodline even more busted. And when it comes down to it, when you guys look at Snake Man, you're like, oh my gosh, this bloodline looks goofy. You know, you got a bunch of like stuff flinging around everywhere, but you know, it's not goofy when you actually fight it. When you actually fight it, you're going to be extremely sad considering all the moves basically extend with one another. Everything kind of fits together quite well, and then the mode makes the moves even better than what they are normally. Now, I gotta say this, the one thing holding this bloodline back is the second ability being on the stun global cooldown. Allows you not really to mix it with other bloodlines whatsoever. This bloodline functions really well by itself. But yeah, look, the counter, like I said, it's just like the C-Spec, but as, you know, as a counter. There's not really much else to say about this bloodline. This bloodline is absolutely nuts. Basically, anything you would want in a bloodline is right here. Anyway, that's it for this video. If you guys enjoyed this video, remember to like, subscribe, post it, guys. Bye-bye.